What started back in 2004 with a trailer of Tori Wilson and Stacy Keibler fighting was finally coming to an end. After 6 games that every single year we look forward to, after 6 games that we grew up with, games that we played non-stop, from season modes to GM modes to Road to WrestleManias, from staying up all night playing the most random exhibition matches to having your own elaborate storylines, the Smackdown vs. Raw series was simply legendary. Everybody played at least one game. Even if you weren't a wrestling fan, these games transcended wrestling. Did the series have ups and downs? Of course, but every single year we look forward to it, and every single year we had fun, and as the WWE changed in real life, so did these games, and so did we. This was it. All good things must come to an end, and this was the final Smackdown vs. Raw video game, the final game in this series that we loved so much. When I first started playing these games, I was a little kid, and by 2010, I was a teenager. These were the games I asked for Christmas every year, and even though WWE games would still go on, and we had some amazing games like 13 and 14, it just never hit the same once the Smackdown vs. Raw era was over. So now in 2020, this game is going to be 10 years old soon. If that doesn't make you feel old, I don't know what will. I remember watching the trailers, the previews, reading on IGN about the features, saving up my lunch money to get it, getting that sexy ass Bret Hart cover, and even though it did end up being the last SmackDown vs. Raw game, it was the perfect way to end the series. They gave us something that all these years later still shocks me at how awesome it is. SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 is one of the greatest wrestling games of all time. Let's get into it. This game had so much hype. We loved 2010, so all eyes were on 2011. Could they capture the magic once again? You start up the game, and you just know it's going to be a fire game when you see John Cena about to AA Randy Orton onto an announce table as your start screen. They took us out of the training facility and threw us in an empty arena where you can practice as your heart desires. Matches are all still there as you expected, nothing new was added, but they didn't need to because they vastly improved what was already there. The roster in this game was great, plus we got the Mortal Kombat style selection screen. You of course had the major players you expected to be in there. Orton, Triple H, Cena, Jericho, Edge, we got retired HBK, we even got Batista who left the company, and they even gave us RVD as a free agent when he was in TNA during this time. Legends are finally slowly coming back. Stone Cold is back in here and is no longer a $1 DLC. The Rock, Jake the Snake, Ricky Steamboat, Jimmy Snuka, Terry Funk. What I love though is the alternate attires. In older games, only a few wrestlers really had alternate attires. In this game, almost everybody does. Jericho in a suit, various wrestlers in t-shirts, Triple H all bandaged up, Mask Kane, Ministry Undertaker. It was awesome. This game also went really ham with the DLC. Bret Hart, Lex Luger, British Bulldog, a little bit of Nexus thrown in there, Biker Taker, and even more attires. Day of the Dead Mysterio, classic HBK, CM Punk with the mask. The roster and the attires were done so well. 78 wrestlers including DLC, but even without it, you didn't really miss much. Arenas were all there, even though by now the WWE got really bland with the arenas, it was still cool to have them. With DLC, there's even a WCW Nitro arena. Okay, so you choose your wrestler, the arena, you start the match. Just like every other WWE game since Shut Your Mouth, the entrances are great. Whether it's Kofi Kingston or Triple H, the entrances are always top tier. One of the coolest entrances though was definitely Jack Swagger. When he did his push-ups and fireworks went off, it was beautiful. So you get in the ring and the first thing you're probably going to think is, am I playing 2010? Because it looks pretty much the same. The arenas look the same, the lighting, yeah, the HUD changed, but this looks like 2010. And then you'll do a few moves and you'll be like, damn, this plays like 2010. But what's the issue? Didn't we all love the 2010 gameplay? But luckily they did make some amazing changes. See, 2010 had the perfect base gameplay, so now for 2011 they just added some more toppings onto the base and they made the perfect pizza. So now when you do your grapple to your opponent and he isn't really damaged, you aren't going to do some amazing signature moves that make the ring shake. No, you start off slow, and as the match progresses, the more you hurt your opponent, the better moves you get, the more bone crunching powerful moves you get. So the flow of the matches are definitely better. You have to build up to it, and now you can hit your finish right away out of nowhere. Before, you'd have to make sure your opponent was groggy, kick him in the gut, and then do your finisher. Now even if they're walking towards you, bang, out of nowhere, you can hit it. Back in the day when you were playing a wrestling game and you wanted to do a move to an opponent and you wanted him to go to a certain spot, you just had to pray that he ended up there. But now you can actually control in which direction your opponent lands. So now if you're doing a suplex in the corner of the ring and you want your opponent to go to the middle, you can control that. Which direction you want to hit your finisher in. They gave us some amazing quality of life upgrades. But those features are all cool, they're all fine and dandy, but what really makes this game was a new dynamic physics system. Yo, before in the games you had freedom, right? But it kind of felt limited, especially in like 08 and 09. Yeah, you can do an extreme rules match like the table on fire, but it kind of got old. But now, GG, the world is yours. The game is just alive. It feels like every time you get into the ring, it's one big sandbox and you just wild out, and it's always dynamic. With the new physics, every match feels different, and then you add in the weapons and it is a wrap. Out of all the WWE games I've played, it's hard for me to find a match I have more fun playing than a SVR 2011 TLC match, because the physics now make the weapons matches just so much fun in this game. Every chair shot you take, every table you crash through, every ladder you use always looks different. So first up now with the tables and ladders, you can lean them anywhere, on the ropes, on the barricade, on the ring, on the announce table. They're always live objects. As long as a weapon is there and someone lands on it, they're going to feel it. Even the steel steps, yeah, it might look glitchy sometimes, but it always looks like it hurts. It really is a sandbox. Wherever you want to place something, you can do it. And tables always break differently now. One time it might explode from the middle, maybe from the side. Sometimes you just hit it slightly and it doesn't break at all and just falls to the ground, where before it was all or nothing. Either you broke it or you didn't. Now it depends what kind of impact there is. And you can just cause so much hell in this game. Tables breaking everywhere, they keep spawning, you stack tables, throw people off ladders, they go through the tables, and the broken weapons don't instantly disappear like these days. No, the pieces go flying and they stay there for a while. So as the match goes on, you can see the mess you made, you can see the hell you raised. It's just so satisfying having a match and seeing table pieces everywhere, broken ladders. It makes the matches feel so much more epic because it's like there's the evidence that all this crazy stuff happened. It's just so satisfying seeing the crazy things you can do and the crazy things someone else can do to you. You're out here getting kicked off a ladder, through tables, eating finishers from the top of the ladder, and you never know what's going to happen. Sometimes you might go through the table, sometimes you might get lucky and miss it, sometimes you'll hit the ropes and stay in the ring, sometimes you'll go flying outside the ring, sometimes you'll land on the ropes and rest in peace. You never know how you're going to land on the steps, you never know how you're going to land on the table. It's just insane. It's magic. These days I get bored easily playing video games. When I was sitting here recording footage, I didn't get bored. All I wanted to do was play TLC matches and see how wild I could get. And then you add in the previous feature, which is you can control where you want your opponent to land. So now when you're doing a move, you can aim for it to hit the ladder or the table or the steps, and you know every time they even touch the weapon, they will react. There's so much stuff you can do. Lean a ladder onto another ladder and be Shelton Benjamin. Hell, lean a ladder from the outside and do this. When I was playing this, I felt like I could do anything. The gameplay in 2010, we discussed it in the video, was already amazing. This just made it perfect. They also gave us for the first time match creators, so you could legit customize your matches however you wanted. You want to do a last man standing 2 out of 3 falls match in the elimination chamber? YOLO, do it up. You know why this game was so fun and so crazy? Because the developers had fun making it. As you can see in the behind the scenes, they were all wearing WWE shirts, there's memorabilia everywhere, they loved the products, they were all fans, and they were out here playing with WWE action figures, trying to think of the crazy stuff to do in matches so you could put it in the game. You could just see it on their faces. They made this game with the intention of it being fun. Just like how you used to have fun as a kid playing with their WWE figures, so when you play this game, it doesn't feel like SVR09 where you're kind of forced to play how the game wants you to play. It feels like you actually have action figures and all of these weapons at your disposal to do whatever you want. You could sit there and legit play exhibition matches and it will take you a good while for you to get bored. But they blessed us with just so much content. Just like last year we got the Creation Suite. So Jeff Hardy isn't in the game anymore. It's fine. You got Jeff Hardy right here, Jeff Hardy over there, Jeff Hardy everywhere. You can make his entire moveset, make his entrance, change his face paint color, make his sleeves. You had all the creation from last year and we already know just how amazing it was last year. Superstar Threads is still here, Paint Tool is still here, Creative Finisher is still there, and that's what makes this game so awesome. They kept everything we loved in 2010 and they just fine-tuned this game to make it perfect. They didn't remove stuff for no reason. GM mode, we miss you. They just improves everything. They improved the gameplay, the physics, and they added create a corner finisher. So now you could create a grapple finisher, a diving finisher, and a corner finisher, which once again can be something totally realistic or something totally impossible, but hey, it's a video game. Create a story is still there, and now we got even more cutscenes and features. Undertaker appearing behind someone's found in a casket. Hell, they even have their own screw job cutscene. So now Brett can screw Brett one more time, and now you have the ability to branch out storylines, so you can add choices and different pathways. You can let your imagination run wild in the ring, run wild in the creation suite, and of course in the create a story. Possibilities were endless, and this was also the first game to bring us universe mode, so it isn't as in-depth as the other ones. You can't modify shows, but this was still a blast. This still holds up. Everything works so fluidly. You can control everything yourself and do custom matches or let the CPU book everything, and the CPU is surprisingly smart, booking #1 contender matches. Certain wrestlers get their specialty matches more often, and everything is just connected so well. The rivals of the wrestler come in and attack them. Your rival may get a ticket and sit front row and watch your match, and after a match is over, who knows, maybe Vince McMahon will come out and fire you. There were just so many cutscenes, and somehow, some way, it all connected and it felt fluid, which as the years went by, a lot of universe modes didn't have that luxury. Post-match attacks where you're getting carried out on a stretcher, but you're still getting beat up. Money in the Bank cash-ins during the main events of Wrestlemania. Interferences in your matches that make sense. One of the coolest things that happened to me was I was Kofi up against Orton in a #1 contenders match. So Randy kicked me off the ladder, I went flying through tables, and Orton was about to win. There was no way I was getting up, and there's no way I could stop him. And out comes from the crowd John Cena, Orton's rival, right on time, like perfect timing. Cena runs in there, brings down Orton, attitude adjustment. Cena never touches me because I'm not his rival, and he just leaves. His job was done, and it was up to me to win. I don't know how they did it, but everything worked out and it felt organic. This was such a good mode and a good idea. Now you could mess around an exhibition and it would kind of mean something. You would get some mini cutscenes, you can live out pay-per-views and weekly shows, but it never got anything super serious, so it still felt casual, but at the same time it didn't feel meaningless. A great mixture and a great feature they added. Something that we still have to this day. And after all of that, they still gave us another year of more Road to WrestleManias. They came back and somehow in their heads they still had some more amazing stories that the real life WWE creative just wish they could think of. And what makes this Road to WrestleMania so awesome? Well, we got free roaming. Yes sir, time to party like it's 2002 and we were playing Smackdown Shut Your Mouth, but free roaming is back and I loved it. It felt like you were playing GTA with wrestlers, and backstage looks so awesome. Wrestlers doing interviews, wrestlers just standing there. You can interact with anyone, fight them, talk to them, team up with them, backstage brawls for everyone. It was awesome. It added another layer to Road to WrestleMania because now you could branch off a little bit, do some side quests. I can't believe I said quest. Learn more stuff and just beef everyone. I loved it. But the main attraction was of course the stories. First up, we have another Chris Jericho Road to WrestleMania where his main beef is Triple H. Who doesn't love 2010 Chris Jericho? Jericho is the ultimate heel in the story. He's out here stealing the belt. He's intentionally getting DQ'd in matches, running away with the belt. We even got our own episode of the highlight reel, and just like how in 2008 he banged in Shawn Michaels into the Jeritron 5000, he does the same thing here with Triple H, and it eventually leads to a WrestleMania match with Triple H. But my personal favorite storyline was Christian's. Christian starts on ECW as the ECW champion. He loses the belt and you're like, okay, I wonder where this is going, and he eventually finds himself on Smackdown where his best friend Edge happens to be. So the storyline ended up being a Edge and Christian reunion. Just like as in real life, Edge and Christian are absolutely hilarious in this game, breaking the fourth wall.
We totally fooled the player into thinking we weren't going to reunite.
I know, we totally... Wait a minute. Player? What player?
You see that weirdo staring at us through the TV?
No, but I'll take your word for it.
Check. 5-second pose. Check. This storyline reeked of awesomeness, just as you expected. John Cena has a storyline where he just has to verse Randy Orton. Of course, but they still make it interesting and they still make it fun. See, in the starting, unlike SVR09, MVP and Cena are boys. Yeah, how things change in a few years, but it's cool how they actually bring up how MVP and Cena used to have a feud. It's like, oh, okay, this is the same universe as the old WrestleManias. Okay, I get that reference. To change things up here, Randy Orton becomes a psycho general manager, and Cena slowly starts acting pretty heelish in here. Orton shows the world footage of Cena saying he'll beat MVP like it's nothing and that MVP is garbage now, even though MVP helped out Cena a lot of times in the story. So Orton is just playing a great heel GM and making Cena act out even more heelish. He made Cena hit MVP with a chair. He told Cena, either hit MVP with a chair or you're fired. It was a good story because it was so much more different than the typical Super Cena herder America story. Here it's Randy Orton pulling the strings and Cena can't do anything but play along. We got an Undertaker road to WrestleMania, but this isn't you playing as Taker. This is all about you beating the Undertaker at WrestleMania. And this one just gets wild, so you can choose a created wrestler or a few other options such as R-Truth and Kofi to end the streak, and this one was just flat out funky, filled with black magic, sorcery, whatever you want to call it, hallucinations, Paul Bearer making his return just for him to get beat up by you. Like, okay, this one was insane. The Undertaker wrestles in an arena filled with druids. I can't describe this one. Honestly, I definitely have to do a playthrough of this one. Last but not least, Rey Mysterio's. And once again, they could have easily done the same I'm Rey Mysterio, biggest little man, underdog story. But they didn't. They gave us something outside the box and it was great. Was it goofy? Yes. But it's a video game. Rey Mysterio got in a car crash. Oh no, poor Rey. But it's okay, he's fine. Minus the amnesia. So he can't even remember who Evan Bourne is. He's gone loopy. He probably has all the concussions, but what's a concussion protocol? He's out here wrestling anyway, and eventually Jack Swagger begins to take advantage of Rey Mysterio and becomes his friend. Jack Swagger's out here taking Rey Mysterio clubbing, they're being douchebags together, and Jack Swagger, to simply put it, is rotting Rey Mysterio's mind, and Rey is no longer the same Rey as we knew him. Rey Mysterio becomes evil Rey Mysterio. So he's doing Swagger's dirty work, he's taking shit from no one, and Rey Mysterio is just a bad guy, something we never thought we would ever see. Once again, they did something totally different when they could have just played it so safely. There is just so much to do in this game. There was already so much content in 2010, and now we got even more. We got better gameplay, a better road to WrestleMania, better creative story, a brand new universe mode. Creation is still elite, the roster is amazing, and man, this game is just fun. Like I said, this is one of the most perfect wrestling games ever. It's something that I sat here and played for this video and I didn't want to stop playing. Whether it's Road to WrestleManias or the crazy cutscenes in universe mode that take me right back to WWE in 2010, or whether it's me jumping off a ladder and doing the most insane spots, there's something here for everyone. This game was the end of the SVR series. A series that changed so much over the years. The first one was like a Here Comes the Pain Lite. 06 was its own beautiful game which combined arcade and simulation. 07 went next gen and brought at that point the most realistic WWE game ever. 08 and 09, well, they were fun, they took some chances, they had some hits and they had some misses, and by 2010 they learned from their missteps from 08 and 09 and made a great game. And here we were in 2011 at the end of an era. They took everything they learned from the first SVR all the way to 2010, they put it together and they made a game that was a perfect way to cap off the series. Now, at that time, did they know this was going to be the last SVR? Probably not, but it's funny how things work out. This is a game that I spent countless hours playing, and now that I got into it again, I'm probably gonna keep playing it. This game doesn't feel like it came out 10 years ago. It is so complete, so fun, and filled with so much content that I legit feel that this is up there with the greats. This is up there with No Mercy, Here Comes the Pain, 07 and 2K14. This is up there with the legendary wrestling games of our past. Maybe it's the nostalgia, I don't know. I'm happy I grew up in a time where I could play the Smackdown vs. Raw series, and just like how the N64 Aki series ended with the legendary No Mercy, the Smackdown series ended with the legendary Here Comes the Pain. I'm happy the Smackdown vs. Raw series ended with this legendary game. They took everything amazing about 2010 and they just made it even better. And as a result, in my opinion, I strongly feel that this is one of the greatest wrestling games of all time.